and welcome to the Golden Hour. This is season 1, episode 3. I am coming back to you live today to have an incredible conversation where I'm going to reveal some things to you, some things that you may not know, some things that your mother may have never told you. I'm excited to share all that I have that has radically changed my life and radically changed the lives of those that I have shared this with. So brace yourself, take some notes, really open your mind, open your heart to this information, because it's belief systems are challenging. They can be challenging because we believe something for so long, right? Like I shared last show, our belief systems are created by the age of 4, 5, 6, 7. We're very, very young when we start to believe things, and we take on other people's belief systems. And then what happens is we create evidence around them, because your beliefs create, your emotions create. So those beliefs that are so feel real to you, they so feel like, this is the way it is. These are my foundations and I cannot change. They absolutely can't beliefs. Okay. So we're going to work on this. Just had a little black screen there. Oh my goodness. Okay. Here we go. Let's not do that again. Okay, so these belief systems that we need to work on are the ones that you grew up with. They're the ones that you believe about yourselves. When you get really, really in tuned and in touch and truthful with yourself, you look at these beliefs and we start to question, are they true? Are they true for me? Do they need to be true for me? If it's a belief system that doesn't support what I'm looking to manifest in my life, do I need to keep believing it? And I think over the course of the last few years, interestingly, I really start to look at things and I wonder about truth. I wonder the things that come to us. It's like, oh, I saw it on Facebook, so it must be true. Or I saw it on Instagram, so it must be true. Or I saw it on the news, so it must be true, right? I don't watch the news, and I would implore you not to. But because of that, and because of the kind of the shakeup in our world in the last couple of years, I started to really question the information that's coming to me and whether I want to accept it as truth. You always have a choice to accept things as your truth or as something that you won't buy into. We buy into things, right? Like people tell us stuff. And especially when it comes to things that we're looking to manifest or create. When someone tells us something that they want to do, a dream that they're looking to realize, and we put them down. We tell them our experiences. We tell them why it wouldn't work. I have actually a really great example of this. My husband is working on some music, and this is a new thing for him. This is a new path for him. He's doing some songwriting, and he's, learning guitar, and he's learning garage band. And the other day he mentioned to my daughter that he's really interested in learning the bass. And she said to him, "Oh, that's really hard. You don't want to do that. That's a really hard instrument." And it was so funny because she didn't mean to do it. She is my spiritual little guru, and she didn't mean to do it, but it got inside his head a little bit. So we had a discussion about it the other day, and he's like, then I started thinking maybe it is too hard. Maybe it's not worth my time. And I was like, how many times do we let people do that? And we take on their belief systems about what happened to them. Right before we moved to California, we were very, very quiet about it, and we didn't share it with a lot of people right away because we were foraging the foundation to do this, and we didn't want people getting in there and trying to talk us out of it, which we knew would happen because we're loved. People want us around. They don't want us moving across the country, especially family members. So we kept it really quiet for a long time, but the people that we did choose to tell, it was very interesting. Like a gentleman that my husband was working for, he's like, "Why the hell would you want to move to California?" And just like so many people. And then we had people that said, "Oh yeah, do it. Do it. It's great. It's beautiful there. I love it there." We had a couple of people that used to live here that said it was amazing, and they supported us. But the interesting thing about that, and this is what you have to understand about belief systems, is where was our foundation? So if we were scared and we were looking for a reason to retreat, we would have believed those people, and we would have gotten more evidence of people like that trying to talk us out of it. But because our foundation was pretty solid and we had really worked hard to feel good about what we were doing, we got more evidence that actually supported us versus not supporting us. In fact, interestingly, my husband's aunt, who I was probably the most worried about because she's like the matriarch of the family and we are super close to her. Like we do all our holidays with her. I absolutely adore her. I was actually very sad about leaving her. She said to us, she said, go for it. She said a long, long time ago, before she had a family, she wanted to move to California and she never did. And she always regretted it. And that really surprised me. That super surprised me that she would be the one that wasn't trying to talk us out of it, but she was the one that was like, go live your dreams. So pay attention to what you're buying into. Okay. That's how this conversation is starting. Look at the things that you're picking up on, that you're taking as truth, that you're taking as your belief systems in the present day. Now, when we go back to the childhood, we've got to look at the things that are happening that happened in your childhood. You have to go back there. I know some law of attraction people say you don't have to go back there and it's not worth it, but this is the thing. And this is where I think people get really tripped up with I've got subliminal programming. I've got, subconscious beliefs. I just don't find any of that helpful. I think that if we go looking, we find them. I really do, especially if you have a meditation practice, which I'll talk about in a little bit. But if you're putting yourself in alpha state, and you're raising yourself into higher consciousness, you're going to get answers. You're going to get a lot of answers from within. You're going to get a lot of things to clear up. You're going to get a lot of wounds to heal, and you're going to become someone totally new. You're going to be able to recreate your identity because you're not so attached to the identity that you have from that 60,000 thoughts a day, from that monkey mind, from that persona, that identity that you created from a very small age based on other people's beliefs about you, other people's truths about you, other seeds that were planted that you watered over time because you got evidence from them. All right, so here we go. All right, so these are the belief systems, and I'm not picking on your parents, and I'm especially not picking on your mom. I'm not doing that. But what I do really want you to grasp today is that you were raised by people. It doesn't have to be mom or dad, could be grandparents, could be foster care, could be anything, but we're raised by people that weren't necessarily in any sort of higher state of consciousness and did not see the powerful creator that we were, that we are. And so we weren't really inspired. I know one person in my life whose mother really encouraged him and told him that he was going to be great. One person out of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of coaching. I know one person whose mom really, and he is amazing. He owns a multi-million dollar company. He's done a lot of good in the world. He actually is the person who introduced me to law of attraction, and I absolutely adore him. So there are people, and you may be one of them. And if you are, man, do I feel like you got an advantage. But here's the thing about feeling like you got disadvantaged by your upbringing, by the people around you. I didn't have the easiest childhood. I know that I was loved. I completely 1000% value that my parents did the best that they can. And I value that I've done the best that I can for my children and that I'm expanding and growing as well as with them, along with them. I mean, there's no real manual for this. Every child is different. Every personality is different. We are different as we're raising them, different kids or at different stages, right? And your parents, it's the same thing. Whoever raised you did the best they could with what they knew. So that also goes along with you. If you've parented and you don't feel like you did a good job, you did the best you could. And beating yourself up and regretting whatever happened with your children is not serving you. You need to heal from that. And you need to come to a place where you understand that you are doing the best that you can in every moment of your life. And if you really look at the job that your parents did and you said, that was a terrible job, that was a horrible job, I can't believe that they were those people. This is what you need to understand. They did it for you. I know. It's a hard concept. When I first heard this concept, I was literally blown away. And the truth is that we don't really know our our powerfulness, our power, our worthiness, our truth of being, unless we know powerlessness, unless we know unworthiness. It's the other end of the spectrum. In law of attraction, they call it contrast, right? It's like what creates the strongest desires in us is often the things that we don't want. So that tough, if you grew up and you had a tough childhood, there's a reason for that. It wasn't so that you could grow up resentful and blaming everyone. It wasn't so that you wouldn't have an advantage in life. It was because you wanted the experience. You wanted the experience of expansion and growth, and now is your time. Now is your time to take that power back. Now is your time to become more. Now is your time to understand at a different level that every single thing that has happened to you up until this point is absolutely here to serve you. And it's here to help you learn, expand, and grow and become more. And that's what I'm here to share. And to me, it's the coolest information to take every single day and walk through life knowing that no matter what happens, no matter what challenge happens, no matter what comes across my plate, that I'm going to be able to handle it because I have universal support. I have my own inner guidance. I am connected. I'm an expression of all that is. I have infinite intelligence on my side. So knowing all of that makes me feel less fearful. It makes me feel way more faithful, and it makes me trust in the journey that I've come to up until now. And there's traumas, man. There's traumas, there's tragedies, there's a lot of stuff in my past that I could carry around and let them make me less of a person or less of a creator, but I've given that up. I've given that up. And I hope that you're ready to give that up too, because that victimhood stuff and that blaming, oh man, that's just going to eat you alive. It's not going to create health in your body. It's not going to create health in your mind or in your spirit. So it's time to let those things go. I shared that last time. We got to get rid of victimhood. It is no good. You do not want to live your life in victimhood because there's no power in it. Yes, there's attention in it. I get it. You get attention when you're a victim. I get it. And people feel sorry for you and they're nice to you and maybe they give you some extra love, but that's not the way to it. Honestly, it's not the best way to it. It's a way to it, but it's not the best way to it because it doesn't instill your power and it doesn't instill the love that you are, like the true love that you are, because you're looking to get love from some place of lack. There's fragmentation in that. There's no wholeness in that. All right, so these are some belief systems that you may have grown up with. So I want you to really pay attention to this. And if you can add to it, because the first thing we have to do is create the awareness around the thoughts that are messing us up. Okay, the thoughts that are running the emotions that are taking you out of the manifestation game. All right, so you may have belief systems like this. You aren't good at that. You won't amount to anything if you don't go to college. I have a lot of people that are in that one. And I personally did. I went to college for 2 years. I graduated pregnant, just so you know. I had already been with my husband for 7 years. And no, we weren't married yet, but all I ever wanted was to be a mom and a wife. And my parents would have saved money from not pushing me into college because they definitely pushed me into college because, there's this societal programming that we have to go to college to be successful. However, we are seeing that proven wrong now. And a lot of what I'm seeing right now is, and this is not to go against college, we're entrepreneurial. My husband and I have always been that way. My kids now are all doing their own thing too. So it's really interesting because we just were never school job people. Like we always had our own ideas for different things. And I'm seeing a lot of kids go to college and create a lot of debt, being pushed into college right out of high school because that's what they're supposed to do. And then they can't find anything in their field. So then they're going back to school and racking up more debt. And I'm just like, oh my goodness, this makes no sense. So if you have that belief that you didn't go to college and that's why you haven't amounted to anything, you need to let that one go, because there are a million, zillion, trillion different ways to make money now and to create success and to create passion and excitement that don't have anything to do with that. So forgive yourself and move on for that one. I know I'm talking to a few of you. Okay, you need to find a good job to be good enough for society. Plan for the worst, right? Do what pleases us. That was a lot of what our parents, it was like, do what we want, do what, because we know better, right? Did you say that to your kids too? We know better because I said so. Did you hear that one? Oh my goodness. Whenever that would come out of my mouth, I would be like, I can't believe I just said that. Because it used to drive me crazy when my parents would say it, right? But they know better, right? We know better. We know better than them because we have more life experience. But this is the thing. We don't really know better for anyone, because we're not them, because we don't have their inner guidance, because we don't have their passions, we don't have their heart. So we have to give ourselves and our children permission to find out what they're passionate about. They're not going to become losers. I promise they're not. But we do have to inspire them to create and to get out of the box and to do things. I do believe that. And we have to inspire ourselves to do that as well, because we're in creative mode. We're in higher consciousness, right? We're in that level of flow. We're in that connection to infinite intelligence and wisdom, and only good things can happen there. All right. So put other people first. That was the whole sharing thing. Like, we have to share. I have a great story about that. I shared a toy that my cousin had given me. It was a gymnastics Barbie. Oh my goodness. I was so in love with this thing. And she did all these tricks, and her legs like moved in different ways that the normal Barbie did not. And my mom made me, okay, I mean, this is normal, made me share with my little sister, who was 4 years younger than me. And she broke it. Like, within 5 minutes, she broke the doll. And I was so angry and I felt so powerless because I wasn't allowed to keep that thing sacred to myself, right? And that's what we've learned is selfish. But the truth is, if we're always putting everyone else's needs above ours, you're going to end up resentful. That was definitely my story for a long time. You're going to end up resentful. You're going to end up pleasing everybody else, and you're going to end up with a depletion of your energy field. And the depletion of your energy field makes you not a joyful person, and it makes you not a really strong manifester, because you're too busy pleasing everybody else. So you can't actually live your passion or your excitement. Um, Doing for yourself is selfish. You can also fill in the blanks here if you've got a few for yourself, because we've all grown up with things, with sayings and different programmings, that now we have to look at those programmings and we have to say, do I want to believe that? Do I want that to be true? Do I want that to keep creating in my life? And if the answer is no, then it's an unraveling of it. And it's looking at those belief systems, it's journaling this stuff out, how it makes you feel, and it's making a solid decision to not live that anymore. And then what I have done in the past with sessions with people is we'll release that, like we'll release the old belief. You can't change a belief because they have different vibrations. But once you release the belief, then you have to put a new belief in place. So if their belief is, I'm not good enough, a lot of people have this. And that's why they're running around trying to prove they're good enough. If the belief is, I'm not good enough, then what can I replace that with? I am good enough. I am an expression of infinite intelligence. Of course, I'm good enough. Of course. So once you start to unravel that, then it's a game of interruption. So you're interrupting those thoughts and you're tuning out of that vibration. So one thing, yes. Oh, I got a comment. Cool. Thank you. And I totally agree. Victimhood is a choice. However, I do believe that many people have been reaped in victimhood for so long that they don't know that they have a choice. So as we start to awaken, as we start to grow, then we start to realize we have a choice, but there'll be tendencies. I'm going to talk about tendencies in a second, but let me throw up. I'm not supposed to say throw up anymore. All right, let me put up. Here we go. Let's see, where did they go? My links. Here we go. Okay, so I was going to put up my abundance activation. Okay, here we go. So on May 1st, I'm starting an abundance activation, a 21-day abundance activation. And this is going to be on WhatsApp. It takes place on WhatsApp. It's going to be 21 days of me. It's going to be guided meditations and one little activity you can do to tune your frequency higher so that you can create abundance. So there's some little writing things in there. Most of the activities are like little writing things. The whole thing probably takes 15 to 20 minutes to accomplish every day. And it's self-guided. So you do it on your own. I give you the thing the night before, and then you do it on your own. And then you just post in the group that you're done, and you can post and share if you like. The last group I had, they shared everything, and it was incredible. We all got really close. People felt really supported and loved and felt like they weren't alone. And that was really cool. That was something I didn't bargain for. So that's on my website. You can go there and sign up for that right away, because I'm checking off the boxes. I only have 20 people that I can get in a group because I'm super interactive in there. That starts on May 1st. Okay, getting back to it. Okay, so understand that your parents or whoever raised you were in a position to give you belief systems that you were meant to grow out of, that you were meant to expand and grow from. Like I said, powerlessness, unworthiness. You don't really know your power until you know that you're not powerful. So that's the leap that we need to make, is now recognizing that you are powerful, that you are the most powerful creator, that you were brought to this universe, that you were brought here in this moment in time to become more, to realize this power and to start moving energy deliberately, not by default. Your whole life you've been working through default, which is here. Okay, I'm back again. Don't know why that keeps happening. Through reactions, through, automatic responses. I mean, how many automatic responses do you have in your life? I was talking to somebody this morning who has automatic responses all the time that don't support the truth of who she is. And I said to her, I said, you are the greatest manifester I've ever met. And every single time it works out. Why do you put yourself through so much pain on the way to it? There's so much resistance when things happen that aren't optimal. That resistance is connected to the fact that you don't think things are going to work out for you, and you don't believe in yourself. You don't believe in yourself to create. You don't believe in yourself as a co-creator. So pay attention to that. Pay attention to your responses, because your responses always create the next moment. If you can chill out, if you can create a little bit of space between what just happened and how you want to respond. Like if you can really just sit there for a second and go, all right, what do I want to happen? Instead of flipping out and being like, oh my gosh, this is what's going to happen. Then you're going to be much more equipped, and you're going to move energy faster in your favor. When we get all resistant and we fight against things and we get upset about things, first of all, we're always projecting what we don't want to happen, and we're slowing energy down. We're not, full steam ahead towards what we want. We're actually slowing the energy down. Like the universe is trying to co-create with us, and we're fighting it because we're not in the optimal position of knowing that we're manifestors and knowing that we have the ability to create the most optimal outcomes. We also forget, this is something really important to remember. We forget that things work out for us. We forget that often the things that were less than optimal, like if you look over the course of your life and you look at the things that happened that you thought were the worst things in the world, actually turned out to be the best. Because often they got you out of situations that you would have never walked away from. Yeah, it's true. Okay. All right. So I covered that. All right. So we're going to talk about tendencies. Okay. Tendencies is something that's really, it's interesting to me when I think about, okay, what is a tendency, right? A tendency is kind of our automatic responses to life. They're connected to those belief systems that are old, especially if you haven't worked on them. And they're something that creates cycles. They create the cycles over and over again in our life. So we have to look at our tendencies. So I want you to think right now, kind of how you respond to life and how you respond to people and things that are happening in your life. So here's a couple of questions. Do you tend to get offended and take things personally? My favorite book that ever helped me to get through that is The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. Like, we have literally have his four agreements all over our house. And one of the most important agreements is do not take anything personally. Because what happens, and I do believe this is a mechanism of the mind, but it's also a mechanism of our past, right? The blame game, the victimhood. It's a mechanism that we've used to kind of get through life, to get ourselves through hard situations or situations where we did feel powerless. So if the tendency is to take things personally, that means that everything that happens, we make up a story that that person is doing something to us, something beyond our control, beyond our power, and we are in offense about it. I mean, we've seen a lot of this the last few years. Everybody's offended about something, right? Well, when we are in offense, we're in victimhood. Yeah, let's just call it what it is. When we're in offense, we're in victimhood, and we're in a triggered state. Anytime you're offended by something, you're in a triggered state, which means you're operating from an old wound, an old trauma. So, what you need to do is get in touch with that. Sit down, journal, write. A lot of this stuff will be in my abundance activation, but write it out, what it is, what the foundation is, where this feeling, find out, get in touch with the feeling. Because once you get in touch with the feeling, then it will dissipate. Like, once you recognize, okay, this is how I'm feeling, and then you find the foundation. Okay, this happened to me. I had a friend recently who is afraid of oh, she's got she's got a lot of issues, but she's afraid of elevators. And she said she just got this memory just like popped up to her, where she was in a movie theater and they got there was a fire in the building or something, and they had to be evacuated, and she felt closed in, and it was a crowd of people, and she just connected with this memory from when she was like 9 years old. And I said to her, I said, well, now it can go away, because now you know where it came from, and now you know that's a 9-year-old's fear. And it's going to work out for you. You got out of that building, right? You saw, you should have more faith, right? So these unreasonable fears that we have are connected to something foundationally, or the offense, the taking things personally, that often is connected to something that happened. I call them playground wounds. They're usually something that happened when we were younger. You know, we weren't picked for gym class. We raised our hand. We got the wrong answer. I mean, there's a whole slew of wounds in there that if you've never taken a look at them, you're going to want to do that, because that is the way to healing. And that is also the way to discovering your true power. Okay. Do you make up stories about others that are hurtful to them or to you? So do you make up stories? Like, I've caught myself so much like making up stories about what people intended, or you make up assumptions. You know what they say about that. And when we start to assume the worst, especially about other people, we really do give our power away, and we don't really grant the most greatest manifestations in our relationships, because we're thinking the worst. And when you think the worst, you get the worst. So I love to give people the benefit of the doubt. Sometimes I give them too many benefits of the doubt, because it will take me a little while to really realize that something isn't serving me, that a relationship isn't serving me. But my barometer in relationships is always, and in anything I'm doing, in any activity I'm doing, in any thing I'm putting inside my body, anything that I'm listening to or ingesting, my barometer is there any joy left in this? And I will do that with my relationships as well. Is there any joy left in this? Am I getting any joy out of it at all? And if the answer is absolutely not, usually that thing will have to go. It'll have to go out of my life, or I will at least restrict time with it. All right. Do you run through worst case scenarios? I see this a lot. Immediately after something less than optimal happens, or it looks like something's going to happen, do you automatically jump on it and decide that the worst thing is going to happen? Do you do that? I know that's a big tendency for a lot of people. It was a tendency for me, for sure. And I still can catch myself, for sure. Saying things like, I don't want to get stuck in traffic, or I don't want to get sick. All of those things, the focus is on the thing you don't want. So when it comes to something that happens that's less than optimal, where are you going with it? Where are you going with it? Are you going to the worst, or are you going to the best? Are you going towards what you want, or are you moving away from what you want? That is really, really important. It is, because if you don't recognize that you're doing that, you will have no power over circumstances, and your circumstances will constantly define you, and they will define your manifestation in a way that you don't want. Now, everything does really work out. No matter how fearful we are, no matter how much we fight against life, ultimately things do work out for us, and they work out despite us. I will say that. But if you have a bunch of junk that's going on and things are not working out for you, we got to work here. We got to work from the foundation. Are you easy to get angry? I see people triggered all the time. I saw this guy at the gym a couple of weeks ago go off on this lady because she got on his machine for 2 minutes. She was going to be on it for, actually, it might have been a minute and a half. And he went off on her, and he was, personally attacking her and telling her horrible things. And I'm just standing there and I'm going, wow, like, this is the way we treat strangers. Like, it was so interesting to me, but it made me realize that when we are in strong emotional responses, there's no logic. We have no logic, and we have no compassion. So if you're easy to anger, you've got to start working on the framework of, why am I so angry? Why do I keep choosing to be angry? I think some of it is people are addicted to the adrenaline. There's downloads of chemicals and hormones in anger. Sometimes it can make you feel like you matter. Sometimes it takes you out of boredom if you feel like your life is boring. And if you're doing it because it makes you feel like you matter and you have some sort of purpose, that's the wrong way to get love. I'm telling you, a super great way to get love. All right. So the tendencies that make you feel like you have no control over life, or over your emotional field, are what you're actually creating from. So remember, emotions are energy in motion. So once you get a real strong emotional response, you are creating. And I know that can sound scary, but it's not. It's really not. Like I said, we have universal partnership. So it's going to bring us back. It's going to give us the awarenesses. It's going to help us to see. And you're growing. You're expanding and growing. You're not supposed to be perfect. You're supposed to just figure this out along the way. And as you do, you get better at it. That's all there is to it. All right. So a belief. What is a belief? It's just a thought you keep thinking. That's it. It's nothing. It's not, there's so many beliefs in our world that we've been given from our society, from our religions, from our parents. But a belief is just a thought you keep thinking. And I find that so cool, because if there is a belief that's in your way, all you have to do is take that belief, connect with it, start journaling about it, and decide to let it go, and then put a new one in its place. And then just notice. You have to have a meditation practice. I'm going to throw that up again. I'm going to put that up again. This is my little meditation teaching. I think it's like $47 on my website. It's really good, because if you ever believe that you couldn't meditate, this teaching will help you to actually connect with meditating. But honestly, meditating is just, it's a practice. And when you sit down and you put yourself in this place of zero state awareness, eventually your mind is going to quiet. And you're going to find this place where you get to create everything from, where you get to just be, where you get to be in bliss, is what I like to call it, because nobody is asking anything of you. You're not going anywhere. You're just here for you. You're here for your internal journey and the journey to discovering who you really are. That's the greatest gift that meditation gives you. Now, I was thinking about this today. I went to a meditation class like 30 years, 25, no, it was like 20 years ago. 22 years ago, I went to this meditation class, and this woman taught us meditation, and we would meditate in this group. And I remember meeting this woman, and she was a meditator, and she was a maniac. Like, she was just stressed out about everything, and she was crazy. So meditation will not solve all of your problems if you don't have the mind training piece in place. So if you get up from your meditation chair and you go out and you're still a maniac, your life is still going to be crazy. You have to learn to train your mind. That's what my abundance activation thing is really about. It's about training yourself to be in the optimal frequency. so that you're not in stress all the time. If you're in stress all the time and you're just like addicted to running around and being hurrying and rushing, and I call it business mode. If you're always in business mode, you're not available for life. You're not available for life. You're not available for the preciousness of life. You're not available for nature. You're not available for beauty. You're not available for fun. As serious as all this is, it's not that serious. One of the greatest things you can do is start to be a little more lighthearted about life. You can start joking around more. You can stop being serious. You can start being silly. When you do that, you're in the frequency of joy. And the frequency of joy will always bring you better things. It'll bring you wonderful things. All right. And if you need, okay, so I was going to do a little segment. I'm going to jump in there right now just because that's time. So I'm going to do a little segment, and it's called I'll Have What She's Having. And every week I'm going to bring you guys something mental, something physical, and something spiritual, and just ideas of things you can do. Because I often find that people are stuck in the fact that they don't know what to do, right? Like this confusion. And if you're stuck in confusion, you can't reach clarity. If you keep saying, I don't know what to do and I'm confused, you have to sit down and you have to intend, and you have to say, I am open to solutions. I am open to receiving, right? That's such a cool thing to say. So when you don't know what to do, when you open yourself up and go, I'm open to receive, boom, you're going to get answers. I promise you're going to get answers, unless you're like that lady and you get up and you start going, I still don't know what to do. Okay. Watch what you're believing and watch what you're saying. All right. So the first thing I'm going to do is the mental. So of course, meditation. I put up my little meditation, like start a meditation practice today. 10, 15, 20 minutes of just listening to something. I've shared, I like the the Silva meditations on YouTube. I do have my personal meditations are available in our abundance activation. I think I have some on YouTube. I'm not sure. You can email me at livelifegolden@gmail if you're looking for meditations, because I have some and I love. And if you want to get in on my abundance activation, let me know about that. All right. So the mental is always meditation. If you start your day with meditation, I promise you your day is going to be better. It's going to run better. As long as you get up from that meditation with a strong intention to be in a higher frequency and you don't let every little thing tick you off, right? If something happens, like you get stuck in traffic, you don't just lose it. Because what is the point of that? You're not moving traffic when you're upset. I promise you. You are more likely to move traffic when you calm down. When you see traffic as something that serves you. Oh, I get to listen to the golden hour longer, or I get to breathe in my car. I get to listen to great music. You're in charge of your responses. All right, so that's the first thing. I'm going to put a lot of things in the mental that are also in the spiritual. Nature. I just witnessed someone. 9 km by 9 a.m. on Facebook is my great friend Nigel Jones. I'm sure he'll be on here, but he really values being in nature and how much of an upliftment it is, because this is the thing. Our phones and our computers and the things that we are constantly on, right, has energy involved in it. That energy actually steers us away from our well-being. So when we go back out in nature, we're restored, especially if you put your feet on the ground. You do a little grounding, okay? But being in nature will actually get you back to, it will help defy some of these effects of this constant computer and phone. And I know, because I run businesses on here, so I'm on here constantly myself, and I've got to commit to this. 10, 15, 20-minute little walk in nature is restorative. And I just saw a guy on this little Facebook group who was extremely depressed, come out of depression from walking every morning. And he is shouting at the rooftops how incredible it is and what nature has done for him, just being out there every day, watching the sunrise. Incredible, incredible time. So that's what nature. Music is another thing that can help you mentally. I really feel like high vibration music. So look into high vibration music. Be careful what you're listening to, because if it's super angry and it's really harsh, you're going to drive some adrenaline that's not really going to serve you, and it's not going to tune you into the higher frequency. Look that up. Google that, high vibration energy. They've done studies on this stuff. They've done studies. I think it's Dr. Am I going to remember his name? He's from Japan, I believe, and he did the rice study. And, he had, I think it was water and rice, and he spoke kindly to one and not kindly to another, and that turned black, the stuff that he didn't. So think about that. Think about what you're ingesting and what you're putting in your experience. And if it's angry, and if it's, harsh, you know what it feels like when it's harsh. That's not high vibration. You want to put yourself in places where it's high vibration, where it's uplifting, where it makes you feel good and not angry. One little product that I wanted to share with you guys today, because this is something I'm not a big product reviewer. There's a couple of things that I take in my life that I have noticed a profound effect from. And I share those with you because A, you'll get a discount, and B, I want to make a profound effect in people's health, in your physical health, in your mental health, in your spiritual health. And I believe I really believe these things do all three. So I'm going to put up the link on this, and this is mushrooms. So it's we do the lion's mane and we do the 5 defenders. And I'm telling you guys, this stuff is incredible. People I've shared this with, you just have more clarity, sleep better. We have been really healthy this winter, and I swear it's because of this. We're also very positive people, and we don't really believe in illness. So we don't really connect with that. But I do think these have had a profound effect, because I usually will get, scratchy throat or cold over the winter. And I didn't get any this year, which is really interesting because we had some funky weather. So the link is up for this. I think you get some kind of discount, 10, 20%, something like that. But I got a couple people on these, and they really do. My whole family's on these. There's 2 things you can watch on Netflix. One is Fantastic Fungi, and the other one is Change Your Brain. And that talks all about mushrooms and the incredible benefit of mushrooms in our life. I'm a huge proponent of this, and I'm a huge proponent of natural remedies, because I really and truly believe that the body has the ability to heal itself, and that we've been given stories that it doesn't. So we've got to get out of those belief systems, correct? Correct. All right, where are we going on time here? We're doing good. Okay. So your identity is just a persona. It's just a persona that you keep believing you are, right? So if you think you're not good at art, or if you think you're not good at math, and I kind of have this, like, I'm not good at math thing, but I'm okay with it because I really don't like math. So my new saying now is I don't like math. Another one that I've changed that's so silly and so small, but it's working. I always say I'm really bad at couponing, because I always forget the coupon, or the coupon's expired, or but lately I've shifted that. And I've really been working on saving these I get like $5 coupons off. And y'all know the price of food these days. So every little bit helps, and it makes me feel good. It's not about like constricting or I need to save money. It's like, oh, I got $5. It's like a manifestation, right? And I value this manifestation, and I'm going to use it. So I've been getting better about that, and I've noticed evidence of it in the universe. So little tiny things like that you're saying that are tripping up those manifestations, like, I'm a great couponer. I save money and I feel great, and I manifest money by saving money, right? All right. So the identity, think about your identity. Who are you? Who are you? Who am I? Who are we? Right? We get to say who we are. We get to say what our name is. We get to say where we want to live. We're in charge of all of it. And if you don't feel like you are, it's time to start believing that, and to start deciding for yourself. There's this whole idea of acting as if, and the truth is, we got to work with the tendencies first, right? Like, if you really want to become something, if you want to become something different and something greater and something more, you have to start working with the tendencies. So my tendency before I started my podcast, which was 2 years ago, you can look that up. It's Manifest to Live Life Golden. I'm on YouTube, and I'm also on Spotify and all the podcast sites. I have like over 100 episodes on that. Before I started that, my tendency was, I need someone to help me. I need a partner. I need someone that knows how to run these things, because I have no idea what I'm doing. And that would cause me a lot of anxiety. Anxiety blocks the flow of wisdom. Anytime you start getting overwhelmed, anytime you start feeling like, oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm doing. Anytime you do that, you're going to block the flow of wisdom. That's the truth. Without a doubt, I've seen it so many times. So I had to stop that tendency, and I had to say, okay, I can do this on my own. I was put in a position where I had to do this on my own because of the fact that I had this message that was screaming through me every day and I couldn't keep it to myself anymore. It felt so wrong. Every day I woke up and thought I should it on myself every day. I should do this. I can't sit here anymore and keep this to myself. I have to do this. That's like where I got to with it. And because of that, it pushed me way out of my comfort zone and made me start figuring things out. And I do it all on my own. I upload it, I do the thumbnails, I do all of it. And it's not hard. It's just like, it's when you don't know how to do something. And I've noticed this about a lot of things. Here's another silly example. The spin bike. Okay. I get on the spin bike and you have to put the little baskets in to put your feet in. Now I'm in love with spin right now. That's the physical thing that I wanted to share with you. So we did the mental, we did that. The physical part of this is like get a cardio practice, like get something that makes you sweat because you're going to release toxins. I leave there so high. You're going to get those happy hormones, that serotonin level. Plus you're going to feel good about your body. You're not going to be beating yourself up for not working out anymore. So I highly recommend spin. I've just recently found that. I'm incredibly in love with it. I also love hot yoga. I used to do HIIT classes all the time. Those got a little intense. Group workouts are awesome because you're connecting with people. And a lot of us need that. We need that connection. So I get on the spin bike and there's these little baskets you have to put in because I don't have the shoes. I didn't buy the shoes because I just started the practice. And today I figured it out. I was like, yes. And I got super excited because I did the first one and then I got overconfident and I started to do the second one and it wasn't working. And I was like, calm down. Because I didn't want to ask the instructor again because I've already asked her like 3 times. So I was like, I'm figuring this out. Get like that. Be like that. I'm figuring this out. Instead of going and shrinking and doubt and fear and all those old belief systems that tell you you're not good enough, rise up and go, I'm figuring this out. And I did it and I feel great. And now I'm going to be able to do it again. So this is what happens right before you start to figure something out. Okay. I think about this like a grid filling in. So in the beginning, you have no idea how to do it. You're looking at this thing and you're like, oh my God, I have no idea how to do this. Right. Or like for my podcast, it was like, oh, what do I have to do? And I have to go here and then I have to upload it here. Take it one step at a time, baby steps, right? Baby steps. If you screw up, who cares? I screwed up this show last week. I started it 3 minutes early, so you didn't get to see my beginning. Who cares, right? I'm here to figure this out and to bumble along the way and to show you that you don't have to be perfect. So when it comes to a new thing, understand the grid's going to fill in and be excited for that. Be excited to be in this moment where you are figuring things out because that's the energy flow that you're looking for. Being in excitement about versus anxiety, because excitement and anxiety are the same energy. It's just the beliefs that you got underneath them that will drive the energy. Excitement will drive it towards amazing stuff. Anxiety will just make it harder. You're going to get there. It just stinks along the way. It really does. It's not fun along the way. And I would much rather have fun along the way, wouldn't you? So get excited for that process and you will soon enough, you will see the grid filling in. And once the grid fills in and you know how to do it, it's like, oh, that was easy, right? That was easy. All right. Okay. So moving on. So we must change the tendencies that bring you into bad neighborhoods. So I've talked about this a lot on my podcast, the idea that your mind will try to pull you into what I like to refer to as bad neighborhoods. When you're driving by a bad neighborhood, you don't pull your car over and get out, right? But oftentimes you do in your mind and you entertain these things and these worries. I had a woman once who believed that if she didn't worry, things wouldn't work out. I'm like, worrying is the opposite. It's the opposite of praying for what you want. It's the opposite of intending for what you want. We got to stop sending worry to our future, to our families, to our kids, to our spouses. Stop sending worry. Okay. Because worry is an energy and it's yucky and nobody needs worry sent to them. People need upliftment. They need healing. They need power. We need to uplift those around us and say, you're going to figure this out. So many times with my kids, I would be in the problem with them. I'm no good there. I'm no good in their problem. My daughter called me the other day. She was getting ready for a furniture booth. She's doing booths now. She's actually creating her own furniture. She's in Connecticut. She's amazing. Rusty Wood Barn Company, I think is the name of her. I'll get it straight. I'll actually have her on the show soon. But she quit her job. She's building furniture. She's absolutely amazing. But she was just getting ready to set up, and the whole thing changed, and she was going to be inside versus outside, and it just threw her for a loop, and she started to get anxious. And this is what I did. I reminded her. I reminded her of who she is. I said, you always kill it. You always rise to the occasion. You always deliver. So what are you so worried about? And we talked her through it, and she felt amazing after, and the whole thing went off without a hitch. So for you, what is that tendency? Is that tendency to go into anxiety and retreat? Or are you rising above it? Are you looking at things as your opportunity for expansion and growth? Because that's the best of the best. Expansion and growth is the best of the best. And when you start looking at your challenges as invitations, as opportunities to find this incredible power within you, you start rocking life. You really do. You start rocking life. All right. So what are you projecting? Okay. We've got tendencies and we've got projections. Like, what are we projecting into our future, right? We talked last week about the law of correspondence. The law of correspondence is like writing a letter to the universe. So what are you projecting? What are you writing to the universe? Also, law of attraction, like attracts like. What are you being like? Right? Are you feeling unlovable and expecting to get love? Are you feeling not good enough and expecting to get an incredible job offer? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't match. We have to become the match of the energy that we're looking to create from. We got to become the match. Okay. Despite what you believe right now, despite any belief you have right now, you can absolutely change as soon as today. You can release any belief that doesn't serve you. You just have to go in the discovery mode, the curiosity of finding out where these things come from, and then intending and making decisions to let them go. That's the greatest way to becoming more, to expanding and growing, and to no longer letting these old, baby belief systems, we'll call them, really move you and guide you and keep you from living the life that you say you want to live, the life that is the most incredible life that you could be living. Let me make sure. Yeah, no matter what situation you're in, no matter what is happening right now, you have the power to change it. You have the power to manifest what you most want to as soon as you start focusing on that. And you keep yourself in a place of higher frequency by meditating, by exercising, by going into nature, by taking control over what you're ingesting, what you're putting in your experience. You are going to become the most powerful. You are already the most powerful manifester. You're just sometimes manifesting what you don't want. You're already powerful. It already lives within you. All right, so I'm wrapping up. Thursday is going to be amazing. Come back on Thursday. I have an incredible guest on Thursday. She's my neighbor and I adore her, but she is a family law attorney. And we're going to be talking about navigating divorce, healing from divorce, navigating custody battles, and what you can do if you're in a situation like this, or you have been in the past and you still have some trauma left from it, what you can do to be a powerful creator in those situations. So if you have friends that have gone through divorce or going through divorce, please share the show with them, because this one's kind of near and dear to me, because I have coached a lot of women through divorce and I know how hard it is. It's one of the hardest things I think we go through as a society, and it's not really talked about, and I don't think there's a lot of guidance out there for people. You got to pay $400 an hour for an attorney. So my attorney is coming on to share with you all of the incredible tips to be a powerful creator in that situation. I'm super excited that you are here. My intention is that you heard me at a cellular level, that you are going to let go of these generational wounds and heal the generational cycles that say that we're not good enough, that you will step into your worthiness and become more, and that you will know after listening to this show who you truly are and what you came here for, which was all the expansion, all the growth, all the truth, and all of the good stuff. All of the good stuff. All right. I love you all. I'm so happy you were here. Peace.